Papa Squat, coming at you. We're doing something a little bit different today because quite a bit in the videos that I've done, I've talked about things being overproduced or underproduced or produced very well. And I wanted to use an example from kind of when I figured out what production meant on an album. And I'm gonna the person and the album that made me realize when I was 13 or 14 years old what production was Lindsey Buckingham, who was a member of Fleetwood Mac, which is why Fleetwood Mac is pictured here. This is their Rumors album. Lindsey Buckingham released an album called Go Insane. And in fact, there's a ton of songs on that album that are really perfect examples of what overproducing means. So I wanted to go through some Fleetwood Mac songs. Go Your Own Way was written by Buckingham. And then there's another one that we're going to listen to, which is Tusk. And I just want us to listen to the music and the voices, but then like how all that is mixed together with any other sort of sounds or effects or anything like that. So this was written by Lindsey Buckingham, and we may not listen to the whole thing for all of these, but it was produced by someone else. I don't have the name in front of me and I don't remember it. But let's just dive in and give a listen here. Okay, so right off the bat, we have a really simple guitar, we have his voice, and then some drums come in, but the production side of thing is that echo on his voice, and it's not bad, but that's what production did. Okay, so I think that gives us a really good picture. It's really just instruments and voice, drums, guitar, backup singers, Stevie Nicks and Christine McVie, who, great. I mean, Fleetwood Mac undeniably made really good music. So not a lot of overt production going into this. Just a nice, simple, straightforward, definitely wall of sound kind of approach. But then let's give a listen to Tusk, also by Fleetwood Mac. And this is an interesting one because they filmed it with a live marching band. And as a band geek when I was in high school, this was kind of a cool song. And it is actually a very neat song. I didn't really appreciate Fleetwood Mac when they were super popular in the 70s because I was under 10 years old. But this is a song that I heard, a decade later and was like, wow, that's really cool. But let's listen to this and keep in mind, this is certainly sort of a concept song, and I know this album was also a concept. So that the marching band is something that the song's writers were interested in having. So that's not really a production side of things. But let's give a listen and see what they did with the production. And it may be very little. So just normal instruments. There's that chanting in the background that would have been from production. voices and drum beat. Some bass. So that talking in the background, that would be production. Sorry, there's a little bit of talking in the background, and that would come from production. But again, it's pretty minimal. There's not a lot going on there. So I think that's enough of that song too. It's pretty, I mean, it's not stripped down, but it's pretty basic. There's not a lot going on there. So after Tusk, Fleetwood Mac had a really rocky relationship with between the different band members. But Lindsey Buckingham went out on his own, and or at least did some solo projects. And in fact, his next thing I think after this was the soundtrack to National Lampoon's Vacation. But now let's listen to Lindsey Buckingham on his own. This is from the album Go Insane, and this song is called Go Insane. We're also going to listen to Slow Dancing off of that. And then we're going to listen to some of Lindsey's later stuff. So in these two videos, Go Insane and Slow Dancing, Buckingham was doing solo work. He was creating the music and the songs, but he was also the main producer on it with the help of another producer who, when I looked him up online, isn't even really credited as being a producer outside of this work with him. So this is Buckingham on his own, freed from any sort of editorial control, which is how I look at production. Production is like an editor of a book. So if sometimes when authors get big heads and become really famous, they think they shouldn't have to be edited. And these two videos are, and I have to say, I absolutely love this album. This is this Go Insane album because it's really a crazy album. It does some really interesting things. But let's give a listen to the first song, Go Insane. Hopefully an ad won't start. I doubt it will. This song was not super popular. But just listen to how much stuff is going on other than just the music and the singing. Oh, and the videos are great. Sorry, I was going to say the videos are great flashbacks to the 80s, and it's interesting. But do you hear that? That's not necessary. Lindsey Buckingham is an amazing guitarist, but he's adding in these other things that just aren't necessary, and it continues throughout.
Two kinds of people in this world. Winners, losers. I lost my power in this world, 'cause I did not use it. So I go insane.
So you hear the guitar, and then there's all this like ding, 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 over it, mostly unnecessary.
Always do, and I call your name. She's lost like you. Two kinds of trouble in this world. Living,
so his voice is layered multiple times there to get that sort of not quite echoey, but like almost a chorus effect. That's all production. It could just be him singing. Kind of unnecessary. All this. All this. All this stuff with the talking in the background. All right, so that's enough of that. So I'm sure you can tell the difference between the Fleetwood Mac stuff and this stuff. This is like somebody who's finally out on his own and is able to make the music that he thinks he wants to be making, to like loosen up some of the production stuff and be a little experimental and do some things that are different. And for me, it works. Like I enjoy this song and the next song mostly, well, not mostly, but definitely because of nostalgia reasons. But there's something about his music that I really like. So let's check out, is this the... Yeah, so this is the actual video. So this is slow dancing, and this is maybe even a better example of overproduction on a song. So those... all production. That's not a musical instrument. That's just some sound effect that they're adding in. Even the just doesn't... I mean, it's fine, but it's not... it's not what his music should be, and we'll get to what that should be.
Time filled with a winter chill. The rain and music on my windowsill. Oh, the days are short, the nights are long.
So I should also say, to get ready for sexy Lindsey Buckingham with excellent firelit lighting. So that let's go. All production, I mean, pretty much unnecessary. So considering this guy is probably considered, at this time and even today, probably one of the best, like, top 100, top 50 best guitarists in the world, I can't hear any guitar in this song. And I like this song. But it's not what he should be making. Oh, sexy! Okay, so I think you get the picture. Clearly overproduced, and I should also apologize when I say this isn't the sort of music he should be making. What I mean is, he should be playing more to his talents. I think it's good that he experimented in this way, because I think it probably got something out of his system where he was like, I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I want to experiment, and I want to play some more, and I can just do whatever I want to, and that's good. That's what an artist should do. But let's give a listen to probably one of my favorite albums, really ever, is his Out of the Cradle. I'm trying to figure out which one we should listen to first. So this album was written by him and produced by him, but also produced by one of the producers that made Fleetwood Mac so successful. And so in this, what you're going to see is Buckingham moving back towards being a guitarist and concentrating on what he is best at, which is guitar, power chords, really pretty interesting songs. I like I said, this is one of my favorite albums. So let's listen. This was like the only real hit off of this album, but we'll listen to a couple more songs. But just listen to the difference between those previous two songs and these next few. Oh, and I should also point out, one of the things that's really interesting about Buckingham is he doesn't use a pick. He uses his fingernails and fingers, and I think that's significant to say because you'll see him, a close-up on him playing, and that's actually him playing, and you might be like, oh, he can't play like that without a pick. No, he doesn't use a pick. So, and it's just absolutely fantastic guitar. So keep in mind those last two songs, and then listen to this. All right. That's what you want to hear from one of the world's best guitarists, right? Completely stripped down. It's just the guitar. There's no funky effects going on. And this is actually just the intro to the song, and the song starts because he's on the downbeat here. And now it's going to go into the rest of the song, and you'll see it changes significantly, but it's all real music.
Diamonds in the sunset, now your time has come. A pretty yellow bird fly away into the sun. Don't look down!
Okay, so he still has some effects in here, right? There's a little bit of effect on his voice. The Don't Look Down had kind of a big echoey effect, or maybe they recorded his voice a couple of times, and then it goes into the ha 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 ha. That was good. That was a good voice. But that's the production side of things. But that beginning minute is just beautiful. It's real instrumentals. It's real artists playing on the, or musicians playing on these instruments, and it is not what I'd call stripped down, but there's nothing additional to it. And it's just amazing, like, to see these people playing these notes, and it all just works together so amazingly with no additional production.
Spread your broken wings and learn how to fly. Take the damage from the sun, wipe the dew from your eye. Don't look down, down. Do not look down, down. When the candles burn down.
All right, so that gives you a good idea for that song. Way less production on that than the previous, way less. And there was still some in there that I actually had forgotten about. So let's jump ahead to You Do or You Don't. And I need to look over here to see more songs off of this album, because I want to make sure I'm playing the songs I want to. So this is You Do or You Don't. This is another song off the same album, Out of the Cradle. Fantastic. But again, listen to the difference between this and his solo work. So pretty much just guitar, voice, some percussion, and not a whole lot else. There is some echoey effect on his voice. Again, that's the production side of things. But it's just a good, solid song with excellent musicianship. Just fantastic. So I did find another song that I want to play, which we will look at here. Hopefully an ad doesn't start. As I thought. So we'll skip this. I'm going to stop this. So I was wrong before. The first video I showed from this era was not the hit song. This was actually the hit off of the album Hit. It saw some play.
We have a real problem here. We haven't got a record. Whose fault is that? Jack! You signed all the checks! What has Buckingham done with the money?
heard it, how everything went wrong. Events were spent some time ago. Agents on the phone. Where do you belong?
So again, you can see very stripped down. Still has some production stuff going on, but this is not the Lindsey Buckingham from his first solo outing, which is a good thing. And then the last song I want to play is also off of Out of the Cradle, and this is Soul Drifter. Again, just to show off like how little production there is.
I'm a soul drifter, and I'm out of this town. Ain't no use.
And again, what you're hearing is the instruments, his voice, and then on the production side they added in that oh, and that's it. That's all. So that's a kind of what a good producer does, is not just takes what the artist gives them and adds and adds and adds, but takes what the artist gives them and maybe adds something and maybe takes away a couple of things to make the whole package that much better. And I know I'm talking about Lindsey Buckingham and Fleetwood Mac and the different phases of his career, but this also applies because it's about production to rap, hip-hop, country, rock and roll, anything, because the producer has can have such a big impact on what the end product sounds like, and that's why producers like Dr. Dre or I can't think of any more at the moment, but especially in hip-hop, Dr. Dre matter so much to the artists that they work with, is because they can make things so much better. Was it Rick Rubin was the producer on some of the Beastie Boys stuff, and people talk about like Paul's Boutique being so different than what had come before because of Rubin's influence on the group and their music. So anyway, I just thought this was an interesting topic to delve into, and from my experience, I thought Fleetwood Mac and Lindsey Buckingham were a good example, because and he's released music after this that's even more stripped down and not necessarily more popular, but is certainly sort of objectively or critically thought of as being excellent examples of his work. If you haven't checked out his solo stuff, I absolutely recommend it. I can listen to this Out of the Cradle album all the way through multiple times. I've probably listened to it more than 100 times. Under the Skin is another good album by him. And if I can look here, I'll just see if there's a good Under the Skin. See if there's some good videos from this. Live. I don't want live. Well, I can't find a good song. But really, some great music. Not Too Late, Under the Skin, It Was You. Yeah, so let's listen to some of this.
We're all born with 2.5.
Yes, Lenny Gravith. Tell us how we're all billionaires.
Every day now.
So, bunch of production stuff here,
Oh, how the time has flown.
but it's just kind of filling the space.
Every day now. I'm finally home. 'Cause I waited for a woman who's true. I waited for a woman. It was you. Baby, just this time we had to wait. We want to be too late.
So it's easy for me to think that that's overproduced, but at the same time, what it's doing is it's kind of filling the space, as I said a minute ago, but it's also making the music and the words almost stand out more, and then it gets into that kind of syncopated thing, which completely changes the musical phrasing and keeps your attention and is kind of fun. But anyway, I've gone on a long time about this stuff. Check them out. I hope you like it. I hope you thought this video was interesting. I certainly enjoyed making it. And Papa Squat, check it out. Have yourself a wonderful evening. And please like, subscribe, and share. Please let me know what you think about this episode, too. I'm very curious.